In the bustling streets of Dakar, amid the heat of political debates and the sound of taxis weaving through traffic, a voice has risen from the heart of the people. Her name is Mama Fatim Boye, a Senegalese woman whose words are now echoing far beyond her neighborhood. In a recent public gathering, she did not hold back. With fire in her tone and conviction in her eyes, she expressed what many others may be thinking, but are too cautious to say out loud. Mama Fatim made it clear that her support, and that of many others like her, for President Diomaye Faye was not born out of loyalty to him as an individual. Instead, it was deeply rooted in her belief in Ousmane Sonko, the political firebrand and revolutionary figure who became a symbol of resistance against corruption, injustice, and foreign interference. It's because of Sonko that we voted for Diomaye, she declared with unwavering resolve. He is the one who carried our hopes, our pain, our fight. Her statement has ignited conversation across Senegal and beyond. While many praised President Faye for his calm and intelligent demeanor since taking office, others now feel disappointed, uncertain, and even betrayed by what they perceive as a growing distance between the president and the revolutionary promises that swept them into power. For Mama Fatim, the disillusionment runs deep. She believes that the man who was elected with so much hope is now moving away from the spirit of the struggle that defined their political revolution. This dissatisfaction did not appear overnight. Since taking office, President Faye has taken steps to build institutions, reform the state, and engage in diplomatic relations with both African neighbors and international partners. But among his grassroots supporters, particularly the youth and women who mobilized en masse for the revolutionary cause, there's growing concern that his administration is softening its stance or compromising too much in the name of political stability. Mama Fatim remembers the marches, the tear gas, the arrests, and the cries for justice. She remembers how young men and women put their lives on the line for a new Senegal, one that would prioritize local industries, protect national sovereignty, and stand firm against the influence of former colonial powers. For her, Diomaye Faye was a vehicle to carry the vision of Sonko into the presidential palace. But now, she says, the connection between the two men appears to be fading, or at least the policies that Sonko championed are no longer front and center. "I did not vote for silence. I voted for justice," she said to a crowd gathered in her community. "I voted so that our children would no longer be jobless. I voted so that our resources would no longer be sold cheaply to foreigners while our people remain poor. I voted because I believed in Sonko's fight, and I thought Diomaye would carry it forward." Many citizens nodded in agreement. Across Dakar, in places like Pekin and Guédiawaye, similar sentiments are emerging. The people remember the days when Sonko's speeches electrified the nation, when his message cut through political fatigue and gave voice to those long ignored by the elite. His imprisonment, trial, and eventual release only strengthened his legend. So when he endorsed Diomaye Faye, a man with a clean record and a strong mind, the people followed. But now, questions are being asked. Is President Faye being too cautious? Is he retreating into bureaucratic procedures instead of continuing the spirit of bold transformation? Or is he simply facing the harsh realities of governance? A world very different from that of the opposition trenches. These are not easy questions, and Mama Fatim does not pretend to have all the answers. But what she knows is that her expectations were not personal. They were political, and they were not hers alone. It is important to note that President Faye's administration is still young. He has not yet been in office for a full year. In that time, he has launched anti-corruption audits, opened dialogue with opposition voices, and attempted to stabilize a country that was on the brink of serious political unrest. Supporters of the president argue that patience is needed, and that long-term change requires method, not just slogans. Yet for people like Mama Fatim, the urgency of the struggle does not allow for long delays. They believe that the revolution must continue, and must do so with visible, radical actions that reflect the spirit of Sonko's fight. To complicate matters further, there is a growing debate in Senegal about the political dynamic between Sonko and Faye. While Sonko holds the role of prime minister, Faye is the head of state. Their alliance has been described as unique, two friends and comrades bound by struggle, now sharing the reins of power. But some worry that tension may be growing between their camps, or that the pressure of state governance could pull them in different directions. International observers are watching closely. Senegal has long been seen as a model of democratic stability in West Africa. The peaceful transfer of power in the last election was praised across the continent. But with rising expectations from the people and growing frustration at the pace of change, the Faye administration faces an uphill challenge: how to manage the expectations of a population that wants immediate results, while also preserving the hard-won democratic stability that Senegal is known for. In this context, voices like Mama Fatim's are more than just emotional expressions. They are reminders. Reminders that behind every election is a promise, that behind every leader are the people who made his rise possible, and that the revolutionary energy that swept Diomaye Faye into office cannot be extinguished by the pressure of protocol. As the weeks go on, more community leaders, students, and market women are stepping forward to share their views. Some still believe in Diomaye's path, trusting that he will deliver in due time. Others, like Mama Fatim, feel that he must do more, and do it now. She is not calling for rebellion. She is not undermining the authority of the president, but she is demanding accountability. And that, in a democracy, is not only allowed, it is necessary. Thank you to everyone who has supported Voice of Africa. Your subscriptions, shares, and comments fuel our mission to amplify African voices and speak truth to power. If you value the stories we bring and the courage of women like Mama Fatim Boye, consider becoming a member or supporting us through Super Thanks. Your support helps us remain independent, bold, and committed to the truth. In the end, this moment in Senegal is not just about one woman's disappointment. It is a test for a new generation of African leaders. Can they remain true to the ideals that brought them to power? Can they resist the temptations of compromise and external influence? Can they deliver for the people, not in speeches, but in real change? The story of Mama Fatim Boye is not the end. It is just the beginning. The voice of the people is still loud, still proud, and still waiting for the revolution to bear fruit.